Hi.
Hey, everybody. Hello. Welcome to Making Spaces. I'm
Mhm.
Latoya, your spiritual inner power and energy practitioner, guide, and coach, master Reiki practitioner, and master emotional freedom technique, otherwise known as tapping.
Mhm.
Really helping women connect with their being, with their energy, with their essence, with their core selves,
Mhm.
loving, trusting, believing, and knowing themselves on the deeper level so that they can elevate to their next level. And I'm here with my good sister, Marissa with
Marissa.
a C. Come on, tell
Marissa
the
with
people what
a
you do.
C. Yes, I am Marissa. Marissa with a C, a free, courageous, authentic woman. And I am your embodiment coach. And what that means is that I support you in the process of breathing through whatever energies may be stuck or stagnant inside of your body, moving through those things and supporting you um, through that. I haven't introduced myself in quite some time, so I'm like, what is it that I think I gotta? But I
Same
promise
here.
you. I promise you, the work that I have been doing with folks have been very impactful. Most of the time, I do my work through classes here in New Orleans, and more recently, doing workshops with corporations and retreats. So I'm really, really excited to have this conversation around generational stuff. Okay, that we that we may be holding on to, the patterns that we have been perpetuating, and deciding on healing through those things. And it usually starts with just a nice deep breath. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yes, it does. Starts, continues,
Yeah.
ends with that
Yeah.
breathing. I'm telling you right now is powerful, and some of us who are in the tapping world, we be tapping underneath the table, underneath your shirt, right?
Yes.
I wanted to start with
Mm.
why we chose the word stuff, and I know it kind of came through me, but I know you were like yes, right, and
Yes.
because we have said generational, well, the life we did before was generational curses.
Hmm.
We've, in our society now, when we're elevating and we're healing, we've talked about generational patterns. We used to say generational cycles, right? We're breaking cycles,
Hmm.
and um, but when I was thinking about it, I was like, man, when you're in it, when
Yeah.
you're trying to heal through it, or when
Hmm.
you're just navigating it, sometimes you're not even in the space of healing. You're just navigating, right? You're trying to move through this thing, right? I know a
Yeah.
lot of you're at family barbecues, you're at um, family reunions, right? And we're trying to navigate the stuff.
Yeah.
And I was telling you, Marissa, that I feel like sometimes when we're really truly in it, the words, generational cycles and generational patterns, it feels too put together, right?
Right. Right.
Because I feel like a lot of times it's messier than that. It's like, this is stuff.
Yes. Yes. I like the word messy because it definitely feels so. Where for me, to the point where sometimes I don't even want to go to the things, or I won't go, or I will set myself up to be like, okay, I only have this allotted time to connect, and then I'm out. Because I don't want to, either I don't want to, or I have already seen what I needed to see in the family. And I'm like, that is not in alignment with me. So yes. Yes. Come on, Sally.
Absolutely.
Thank you for resonating with me. Okay.
Yes. Um, oh, she said, I gotta show this. Let me show this because I know everybody can relate to this. Hanging out with the family brings it all up.
Hmm. It does.
Isn't Sally? Yes, it brings it all up. It really does. And and in some families, it brings it up verbally,
Hmm.
like it brings it up in your face.
Hmm.
In some families, even brings it up violently, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
I feel like I don't know as much now, but even now, I feel like sometimes, I'm definitely in the process of moving forward, right? Of healing myself, of knowing myself, of elevating spiritually on a soul level. And I feel like sometimes I get around them. I want to say neither bad nor good, but I feel like I'm
Going backwards.
going backwards,
Yeah. Yeah.
retracting, or um so yeah, it brings it all up.
Yeah. I would like to say that mm, a lot of when it comes to bringing up stuff, it's not just verbally, it is not just violently or physically. Sometimes it's just the nonverbal, just being in the energy of secrecy. That's the biggest thing for my family.
Why did you why did you like
Yes.
read my soul,
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah, it's like this, the family secrets, or the things that we know about each other, or know is going on, and no one wants to address it because either it's too heavy, it's too messy. um it may make you look a certain kind of way, versus even though you're not involved, but we are all involved. If we are community, regardless if we are family or not, we are all involved. um and I just recall the last time, I think we talked about this previously, like the last time I was with my family, that it was like I follow the moon phases, and it was a full moon in Scorpio, and there was just a lot of like hidden energy just being exposed. With there were no words being said. I just could see it and feel it, and I was like, ah! Like I'm in it, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, what is happening here? I don't really know what to do with it, and it was happening so fast. Like in this season of the world, it feels like everything is happening so fast. So as I am seeing each person's, I would say, shadow selves,
Mm.
I was like, am I supposed to do anything? Am I supposed to say something? I don't know what to do with this. Like, I'm seeing my own shadow. I got to deal with that. Like, what is going on? And when it comes to healing and navigating this stuff, for me, it sometimes it is having conversations, and sometimes it's allowing the conversations to happen in their own time. Instead of just saying it right as, and I know you and I was talking about this, we're talking about this yesterday. But I had several, either cousins or my brother or different people were coming up to me, and it was like, I watch your videos and I'm changing my life in this kind of way. I'm doing this because I saw your video. I felt like you were talking to me, kind of thing. So there's that, still, that it's not secret, it's just indirect learnings or healing that is happening without me saying something to them specifically. And then there's the divine time that we were talking about, where it's been a few months since it's been quite some time since I've seen my father, and I saw him at this event, and that was after we had a blow up a couple of almost a year ago. But more recently, I've reached out to my dad, and we have been navigating some of the unsaid things in small
Mm.
doses, and not necessarily, let's talk about all of it right now, because there's so much charged, so many charged interactions or patterns or ways of being, that just saying it and bringing it up at one time is overwhelming, and
Yes.
it doesn't necessarily tackle, it is messy and it's okay, and in certain instances that's okay, but it doesn't tackle the fullness of our relationship, and that's okay, as long as we're both choosing to continue to be in relationship with each other and continue to bring up things as they come.
As they come.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say this, beautifully said, by the way,
Yeah.
beautifully said. And thank you for sharing that experience, because I know that in my own circle, I have a lot of friends and even some clients that this this pattern between self and father um, became so complex and
Hmm.
inviting of healing.
Hmm.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing your story.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, I'm loving what you're saying about divine timing. And I wanted to say this, that for some people, this came up because of what Amanda put. I'm going to put it up there again. Blood isn't always thicker than water. And that just, ooh, Amanda, why you go there so quickly? Why are you causing us to deep dive so quickly?
I love it.
um, this came up with a family member that I've been in some work with. I'll say it that way. And the sentiment is this. I'm just going to say this, and I pray that somebody is freed by this. A lot of times in our family, we're putting up with and we're tolerating and we're allowing a
Mhm.
lot of stuff, and I'm going to call it as it is, a lot of shit, right? Like excrement, right?
Mhm.
A lot of BS. We're putting up with it. We're allowing it. We're tolerating it, and in some ways submitting to it because of the fact that they are blood,
Mhm.
because of the fact that they carry the title family.
Mhm.
And my response was, guess what? Especially now as a society, as a global society, as we're elevating
Mhm.
on a soul level, we now get to redefine those words, every
Mhm.
word, right? Every
Mhm.
word. And so, what truly is family? When someone is acting
Mm.
outside of
Mm.
what we collectively are mm, valuing as family, then they are no longer family. And the truth of the matter is, they have called themselves out, right? You didn't call them outside of the family. They have called themselves outside of the family by the way that they are acting, behaving, speaking towards you and other family members. And I'm being careful, but I just want to say that we get to love and value and protect and honor ourselves and other family members. And so
Yeah.
we don't need to be loyal to abuse
Okay. Okay.
because they carry the title family,
Exactly.
right? I'm going to say that again. We don't need to, we are not obligated
Mhm.
to tolerate and entertain and
Mhm.
submit ourselves to energetic abuse. I'm going to say energetic because
Mhm.
financial, verbal, physical, and just energy. Somebody, you can have a family member come into your space, not say a word, not touch you
Mhm.
in any word,
Mhm.
but their energy is violating you.
Violent. Yes. Yes.
Come on.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
so I think one of the first steps in navigating is being aware,
Yeah.
right? Like I think Sally was saying, like, that being able to see.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And nobody else acknowledging it. I like this comment partly because it's about sometimes it's about being disruptive in your own family and label it what you want, black sheep, whatever, redhead stepchild, whatever you want to call it. Like
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
if you see something that is happening, nobody else is acknowledging it and you're not acknowledging it, then you are enabling it, you are complacent in it, right? And so we can't complain about things that everybody knows but nobody's doing anything about. You are somebody who can
You
do
are
something.
so
You are somebody. That may
you are
mean that you
somebody.
that you call it out. That may mean that you are what's the word, mm, when you are ostracized in some form or fashion. That may mean that others come up and say something because you have said something, right? Or you might be have a closer relationship with everyone if you say something. You never know what could happen when you say something, but it's having that courage to be the one to say something. And I know for me, that is who I am. And when you mentioned about your someone's energy can come into a space and be violent or violate the space, there's two parts of that. Like, I know I can enter. I just got this download yesterday. Like, when I enter spaces, people shift. They get uncomfortable sometimes, right? And it has
Yeah.
nothing to do with me. It's the
Yeah.
energy that I bring. It's like, get yourself together. I don't, right?
Right.
It's like,
I don't tolerate.
I
Yes.
don't tolerate, right? And so that
Yes.
is that is another way of speaking about the type of energy that people can come in a room with. And so I would encourage you all to do the work that needs to be done to build that confidence and that courage that you don't even have to say anything. When you enter a space, the family is like, "Ugh, we can't act like this around her." Like, that is not tolerated here,
Right.
right? And then that
Right.
that may look different for some people. That may feel violent to them. That
Right.
may, and they want to either um, challenge you, or that may feel like resistance and they feel like they have to straighten up, or that
Mhm.
may feel
Mhm.
like they are in comparison to you because you've done this work and who do you think you are, kind of
Right.
energy comes up,
Right.
right?
Right.
um,
Right.
and we get to understand it has nothing to do with us. It's the energy that is
It's the
around us.
energy.
It is how our energy connects with the next person, and maybe theirs is being forced to elevate or expand in a certain kind of way because you have entered into the room, right? Yeah.
And they get that choice.
They
And they get that choice.
Yeah.
So I love how you said it, that there's two sides to it. And that continues in the choice, right?
Yeah.
Because you really truly being who you are, coming into the space with that elevated energy
Mm,
or that decisive energy, and now they get that choice, they can choose to
mhm,
interact with it.
mhm,
They can choose to challenge it or counter it. They can choose to be angry with it, resist it,
mhm.
right? They get that choice. And it's important for us to realize that that is, in fact, their choice.
That is in fact their
And
choice.
we don't have control over their choice. And
Mhm,
that's okay, right?
mhm.
And I want to bring that home. It's important for us to know that because, and you're like, of course, Latoya, we don't have control over their choice, of course. But sometimes we act like we do.
Uh,
So the anxiety over what they're going to feel, hear, see, act, respond, that is a need for control. And I
yes.
was faced with
Oh,
it
can you please
myself.
wait a second? Wait a second. Please say that again, because I think people get confused with what control looks like. It's like, you should do this and you should do that, but control is very vast.
It
Please,
is.
please
It
run it
is.
back.
It's vast and it's subtle, right?
Yes.
So our fear, our anxiousness or anxiety, if it moves into that space,
Mm-hmm.
um, even our impassioned anger
Mm-hmm.
over what they might say, what they might feel, how they might react to you, right,
Mm-hmm.
is a need for control.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when we release the need for control over
Mm-hmm.
how they will react to your elevated energy,
Mm-hmm.
you will have peace.
Mm-hmm.
You will have peace. And it is very different navigating that space
Mm-hmm.
from the place of peace and not needing to control.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm. Okay. So
And I gotta say one more thing
yeah.
because this happened to me, and I gotta say one more thing.
Yeah.
It is okay. Somebody needs to hear this today. It is okay to remove yourself. Sometimes it's not running, it's not hiding, it's not avoiding. It's just the healthier way. Sometimes the situation or the environment or the energy is incendiary. I don't know if I
Mm-hmm.
said that correctly, but it's like on the verge of being lit on fire
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
where everybody gets burned.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
as you're doing the inner work, you can feel it. You can feel
Yes.
it.
Yes. Yes, Sally. It is self-care to remove yourself.
Yes. Thank you. Thank
I
you.
just posted about this on Instagram in my stories. There was a woman who was talking about um, you don't change who you are. You change where you are. If there is some, if who you are feels like it needs to change in this specific scenario, then it is not you that needs to change. It is the environment in which you are in that needs to change, right? And I also want to say, and I say this all the time, every decision that we make is not a permanent decision. We may have to remove ourselves for a certain period of time
Yes.
to do our own work, really. It may have nothing to do with anyone else. I mean, that gives them the time, this perspective, the reality check that they may need to choose, opt into doing the work that they need to do for themselves in order for us to come back together, or not. But it is also an opportunity for for us to take a look at ourselves and put ourselves in a safe environment to process, is this good for me? Is this not good for me? I have tried XYZ avenues and this doesn't work anymore. This
Right.
relationship doesn't feel good anymore. It doesn't feel safe to me anymore. And so I decided to remove myself. Um, and at a certain point in the future, once growth and expansion happens, we might be able to come back together. We might be able to
Exactly.
conversation. I mentioned, my father and I having like a blow up back in September of last year of 2022. And I moved from New York to New Orleans in October. And in that conversation that I had with him, I was like, don't talk to me. I don't,
Mm.
right. And before I left New York, I definitely stopped and gave him a hug and told him I loved him, but I still felt the same way. Don't talk to me.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
over time, um, I had supported this coaching program that I'm in called Momentum, and I was volunteering as a coach. And there was an activity where my relationship with my father, my parents, but with my father came up, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna call him today. It was May
Mm.
this year, and I just called and chatted with him a little. Um, Not necessarily about like, I told you I didn't want to talk to you, but now I want to talk to you. But it was just, I wanted to see how you were doing. I wanted to share some love with you, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And starting to slowly rebuild that relationship as long as he wanted to.
Yeah.
Um, and so I say all that to say, like, every relationship, every every decision that is made is not always like, this is it for the rest of my life. You're
Right.
allowed to change your mind. Other people are allowed to change their mind, but just make sure that you are safe, or
Yes.
it feels good, and it's not like any ulterior motive, any like, you know what? Now I'm gonna tell them about themselves, and it's like, it's been 2 3 years, and now all of a sudden you want to tell them how you felt about them 2 years ago. It's like, maybe, or maybe it's like, I miss you. I'm sad that we have disconnected over this amount of time. Is it possible for us to talk and clear some space for us to have a relationship now?
Mhm.
It could be,
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, and what I'm hearing is, and I think I'm hearing it because of the way sometimes I handle things, is that sometimes when we're doing the work, ooh, okay, Spirit. The Spirit said, a lot of times y'all calling yourselves doing the work and you and you're not, right?
Mhm.
Ooh, okay. So sometimes we're doing the work, and we're doing the work in financials and, calling into abundance and wealth. And we have this compartment over here
Mm-hmm.
with sibling, cousin, mom,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
I think, which is why sometimes we can come back 2 or 3 years later and we're like, okay, we're doing the healing work and we're going to have this conversation. And it's like, there's still a lot of fire and a lot of passion. And I think what the download that's coming right now is, as you're doing the work, somebody is called to like really
Mm-hmm.
open for it to be a holistic, right? Even if you feel not ready, right?
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
self work, that self love, that self
Mm-hmm.
honoring, that self valuing, allow it to kind of bleed over into whatever compartment that you have
Mm-hmm.
some people kind of over there. And I can say that because I am that person. I am that person that I'm like, when I cut you off, we're done. And I forgot your name yesterday, right? I know that I am that person. Um, and I have done that, and I've done that with family members,
Same. Yeah.
and not beating myself up about it, because I think in certain times it was the healthier thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and that is also okay.
Yeah.
But in the healing process, I can allow myself the opportunity, the possibility that I can heal in all doors.
Yes.
Yeah, I can
Yes.
heal in all doors, and possibly step back through some of the doors the way that you did your father. I did that with my siblings, and I stood up for myself. I was like, I this kind of talk I no longer tolerate in my life. I literally don't have space for it because I'm healing. I'm healing all the parts of me. I don't have the space for that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it was that I felt like as I healed and elevated a bit, I had some more space.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I
Exactly.
have some more space. So now I can connect, I can let in, and then I
Mm-hmm.
can I can verbalize now, right?
Yes.
Before, you know, that verbalization, that behavior, that action, that energy was not who I wanted to become and not who I was becoming. So,
Yeah.
the separation needed to happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just encouraging someone as we're doing the work,
Mm-hmm.
be
Mm-hmm.
intentional that it is actually the work,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. Yes. What I'm hearing is separation can be elevation. Like
Well,
you remove yourself. And I love what Sally said. Sometimes you need a timeout. Okay. Sometimes go put yourself in the corner to work on these other parts of you. It may not even be working on the part that is in discord with someone else. It's working on these other parts of you so that you can, like you said, make space to then work on this relationship with XYZ person. But what I'm realizing is there's no parts of my life that are not interconnected in some kind of way. My financial
absolutely.
success, my business success, my health, my happiness, they're all tied to the same. My relationships are all tied together. And my father said something on that call. He was like, you can't be successful if you're I can't remember if it's like if you don't have a relationship or if you are upset with your parents. It was
Mm,
somewhere along those lines. And I don't think he would call himself intuitive, but I feel it, right? And he said this to me recently, like sometimes I feel things and I don't know what it is or whatever, but I just feel it, right? And understanding like if we have these wounds with our parents or these mm, issues, challenges, upsets, resentments, all of these kind of things, until we let that go, there's going to be just a cap on how, mm, I don't want to say successful because successful is relative, but
yeah,
like how far we can grow.
yeah, yeah,
Like we
yeah,
get
yeah,
to forgive, look at them as human beings and not as just my mother who was supposed to be XYZ or my father who was supposed to be XYZ. It is this is a human being who also may or may not be doing the work, but that has nothing to do with me. That has nothing to do with me. It is me accepting that they are a human being. They get to be flawed. They get to have whatever decisions and choices be made for their own higher or lower good. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, and their journey.
It is part of their journey, and accepting them as is. And that is the biggest thing that I've learned recently, just around this Aquarius. I'm starting to appreciate Aquarius a lot more lately, but is seeing things as they are versus how we want them to be, or how we think
Totally.
it should be. Seeing them as they are. Your parents or whomever may be rubbing you wrong, whomever, whichever of your ancestors may have um, created this generational stuff that we are navigating, um, they were a human being. They were who they were. They had their own purpose, journey, way of being that they needed to be in order for you to be here now. And so I don't I don't know. Just allow that to be as it is,
Yeah, absolutely.
and not be living in this I wish they had, and if they hadn't then I would have.
Mhm,
Okay,
mhm,
but you get
mhm.
to choose to have now.
Now,
Yeah.
now. And, the law of detachment, there
Mm,
there
mm,
really isn't, and that yesterday is no longer, it doesn't exist anymore
right.
except in our own minds, in our own vision, and therefore in our own energy, right?
Hmm.
But what I wanted to say this, and I know we're at time, so we're gonna go ahead and close up. But this is what I heard as you were speaking. Those people, those people that we are keeping, in that box of whatever that is, resentment, anger, frustration, hurt,
Hmm.
hurt.
Yeah.
Um, those people that we're keeping in that box, when we think we are keeping that energy in that box, and therefore we excelling, and we're succeeding, and we're moving forward outside of this piece here,
Hmm.
really who's in that box is ourselves.
Ooh.
That is a piece of ourselves.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's what I heard.
Mm. Mm. I
And
don't I
we
don't I don't even know what to say about that. I agree. Yeah, if we really are mirrors of each other, then that is a piece of you. And I love that Sally said she allowing is like the opposite of control.
Yeah. Yes.
Hmm.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's surrender, it's letting go, it is releasing control. Yes,
Yes. Yes.
Sally. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Sally. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, all who maybe have been watching but didn't comment, and all who may be watching on hashtag replay.
Mm,
And you are here, and your energy is here, and you are in the work at your own pace and your stage and your level.
mm-hmm.
Um, Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, for who you are and what you're doing. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we are going to end.
Yes.
Marissa and I are going to continue with exclusive content. Hold on, let me put the picture up
Yes.
again. Marissa and I are going to continue with the exclusive content. It will be in our Patreon group, the Kitty Corner. The
Hmm.
link is there right now on the ticker. And let me tell you, there is some good, it's not just us. We've got some other practitioners who are extraordinary in their own right.
Hmm.
Um, and just good stuff, energy
Yes.
centers, chakra, yoga, just but in the space of like just raw, open, authentic, and just
Community connection.
community. Ooh, thank
Yes.
you, community.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
We're
So,
doing this healing work together, supporting one another through it. There are so many options for your elevation and to be supported in that in this community. So definitely check us out, share with a friend, or two, or however
Or
many,
three.
or with a family member that you may not be able to say the words to, but you know that they could use the support. Maybe y'all do it together, but yeah, definitely check us out.
Yeah. And I just want to say, I love that this space is safe. It's safe exploratory. So maybe
Mhm.
you've never tried yoga, but you want to do a little bit in this safe community where everybody's kind of doing and learning together. You've never tried Reiki, you've never tried tapping, you've never tried breathing, and you may not be ready for the one-to-one or big
Mhm.
group, but you want to come into this safe space and just kind of explore what's going on. So
Yeah.
we invite the explorers,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
We invite the explorers. Come on in and test and try and explore and experiment and grow with us.
Yes. I love that.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We'll see you all being well next week, same time, same place.